Welcome, round 14 podcast fans. Appreciate you guys coming back every week. This is episode 12. 12, Tim. It's a nice
Absolutely,
number.
Tony.
It's a
Yeah,
nice number.
absolutely. It's a nice number.
Good stuff.
I really appreciate the support. And if you've seen last week's episode, we had a big one, Arnie versus Sly.
We did. That's our highest viewed episode to date. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
A lot of people like that content, I guess, or the subject or the films we talked about. But either way, it's our highest one yet. So that's pretty nice. It's cool. We have a nice little circle that seems to be following us, and it's nice to get the views. It's nice to get the subscriptions. But it's really cool that we also got a little bit friendly with some of these people through chat or messages or Instagram or whatever it may be. So it's nice.
That's right.
And they have nice, kind words for us, how much they liked our episode or our show or whichever they care to comment on. So it's good. I enjoy it.
Yeah, absolutely. How's the summer going?
Summer is going hot. Where people are melting. My neighbor melted. They're gone now. They're not even around anymore.
Does that do you get a bigger yard now, or is that just
exactly? I have a bigger area to melt myself.
But who's going to cut it?
I take my dog outside. It's too hot. He doesn't even walk on the sidewalk.
Oh, you know what? Our dog, he'll go out and lay under we have the couch on the deck under the gazebo, and he'll lay under there for a bit, and then the patio door, and he'll just come in and just as soon as he gets in, he lays it down in the air.
You know what? I mean, unless you have a temperature controlled pool where you can make your pool colder, which some people do, not a lot, but some people do. There really isn't. I mean, you want to just be in the AC and come inside in the AC and put on some movies. And that's why we're here.
Absolutely. And you try and beat the heat. We kind of have, for the most of the time, we have a temperature control pool. It's called Canada. But actually, even our pool right now is at 84 degrees. So
right.
But I agree. You go inside and watch a movie. Came in the other night, and you know what? I put on First Blood Part 2.
There you go.
Just for no other reason other than I love it. It's a great action movie.
And I think that's your favorite.
You know what? It's not probably obviously as good as First Blood. It's just It's fun. It's just fun. You know what? He's going back to Vietnam, and all hell breaks loose, right? He's supposed to go in and take pictures, which doesn't sit well with him.
Right.
And then I think a lot of us have already seen this movie. He finds POWs. That's not what he's supposed to do. They leave him there, and then the real excitement begins.
Yeah, and that was the one with Martin Cove. Plays the baddie in that one, just like the baddie in Karate Kid.
Right.
So that was my most remembered, I guess you could say, of seeing Rambo's in the movie theater, because I didn't see First Blood in the movie theater. Right. I saw that on video. But I remember going to the theater to see 2, and I went to the theater to see 3 as well, and also Rambo. But that was my most remembered. Like, I was young enough to really enjoy it and see it. It was a lot of action, a lot of blowing things up. You had quite a few bad guys in that one too.
Yeah, that's right.
A couple to choose from if you didn't like the first.
Yeah, the Russians, of course. He always seems to have fighting with the Russians. No, just an action, right? Like, just unbelievable action, right? Explosive arrows, blowing up stuff, helicopter chases, and machine guns, and taking the guns off the helicopters, and just larger than life.
It is. You know what? It is. It was a GI Joe. 2 boys playing with GI Joes in the backyard come to life.
Yeah, and I think
that's what made it fun.
And like you said, on a hot day, even at night, we're not getting any relief. Just laying in the rec room on the couch with Rambo on the big screen. I love it. You know what? I just love it. So,
did you get any of the Rambo 2 toys? How old were you when Rambo 2 came out?
I was, let me see, I was 9. So no, there wasn't. I don't remember. There probably was, but I don't remember a lot.
I remember seeing the commercials.
Toys. Yeah, and then I remember the cartoon.
Yeah,
and that was fun, right?
I remember seeing that commercial too for the cartoon. So I'm older than you, so I
didn't. We never got it. Like, we got it in syndication. We didn't get it live, if you will.
Right.
Back then, folks, for anybody of our younger viewers, cartoons were only played on Saturdays. That was it.
Saturday morning
Like not
cartoons.
there was none of this 24/7 crap that we have
No, no,
now.
no, no, no. Saturday morning cartoons. That was
Yeah,
it.
and then I think it was even only till noon, right?
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah, that was
yeah.
you get the cereal India, and then you go out and play Rambo
And then
outside.
you exactly you went outside and you played the role. That's
Yeah,
cool.
that's right.
But yeah, it's just too hot to do anything else.
Hmm.
I actually went to the gym this morning, so I had to. I forgot AMC is running their Rocky Marathon, which I know
Yeah,
people have been, blasting it all over social media that it's on a
that's right.
marathon.
Yeah,
So
did they have it on in the gym?
they did. They did. I got on, I warm up with the treadmill a little bit
Hmm.
just to get the blood flowing. Not that I need to warm up when I'm in 99-degree weather,
Mm.
but yeah, it was the ending of Rocky 2.
Oh yeah.
No, I'm sorry. I apologize. The ending of Rocky, beginning of
Okay.
Rocky 2.
Yeah.
So it was the right at the ending of it when I got on. I was like, oh, see, this treadmill was made for me.
Yeah. Exactly.
So I got on there. And, and again, Rocky 2 holds a special place in my heart.
Hmm.
I saw it with my grandfather. It was when he won the belt. It
Yep.
was a good feel good movie. I
Mhm.
like the training scene. I
Yeah.
wouldn't say better than any others, but it was definitely
Mhm.
had, Adrian turn around, tell him to win. It was
Mhm.
got your blood moving.
I
So
tell
it
you
was
what,
good.
there's two things that stick out for me in Rocky 2.
Mm,
One is obviously when Apollo is egging on Rocky, and Duke is like, why, what do you want from this guy? We can get money from same, two top
right.
contenders. Let it go. And he, his ego won't let it go.
Mm-mm.
So that whole scene, we've talked about that on previous episodes.
Yeah.
And of course, sorry, I guess there's three. The second one is Mickey and Rocky in the church.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a great scene.
Mickey is, he's saying, you've got a chance at the biggest title in the world.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he goes, but if you're going to blow this, I'm going to blow it with you.
Yeah.
You know what? He's all in. And not only as a trainer, but as a mentor and a friend.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. He became the father figure instantly when he sat down next to
Yep.
Rocky in the church, and then nobody said a word.
Yeah.
They just sat there and prayed and
Mhm.
and wished and hoped and whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And he that was a great scene because he, like
Yeah.
you said, it would have been very uncharacteristic of Rocky to get up in the church and listen to Mickey when
Yeah.
his entire world was on a string.
Yeah.
Possibly dying, maybe not
Yeah.
wake up. Will she wake up?
Yeah.
He could care less about boxing, Apollo, money.
Mhm.
He
Yeah.
didn't care about anything.
There's
And
nothing.
it
There's
was
nothing else.
such a right, and it was such a great part, an integral part of the relationship
Mhm.
that Mickey understood that.
Yeah, that's right. And
And he knew, and Rocky saw that and respected it and knew it, and that it grew them 10 times closer than they were before that fight.
yeah, that's right. And then of course you got Adrian waking up.
That's a great scene.
And we all know the lines, right?
Yeah.
Because she says, "There's one thing I want you to do for me, and that's win." And I'm telling you right now, if that scene doesn't move you, you better check
You
your
don't
pulse.
if you don't get pumped up with, I mean, it's like I said, I saw it in the theater.
Mhm.
Now, Rocky already had made its impact 3
Mhm.
years prior, so it wasn't like Rocky was a stranger.
Mhm.
I mean, the audience got up and cheered. You would have thut you were
Yeah.
at a heavyweight fight. They were yelling, "Yeah, get him, Rocky!"
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I jumped up and yelled myself. My grandfather's yelling. I'm like, like it's a TV show, movie theater. It's not a live action.
No, that's right.
But everybody, it touched them.
No, and
It
that's
touched them.
you know what? That's part of the movies, right? That's part of
Mhm.
going to the movies and everybody and not worrying about the reaction. It just emotion took over everybody in that theater,
It
right? Like
did.
that would have been amazing to be there, and you'll never forget that.
It did. No, exactly. And I remember like it was yesterday. And I
Mhm.
mean, I was 13.
Yeah.
So I remember it very well.
Mhm.
And of course, the other big part I liked about the film, which is kind of connected
Mhm.
uh, somewhat, but it's definitely segueing into our entire episode today.
Yeah.
Uh, he bought a Trans Am.
Yeah.
Now, in 1979,
Yeah.
when Rocky buys this Trans
Yeah.
Am,
Mhm.
you can't help but think of one person when you see this Trans Am.
Yeah, that's right.
And so it really hit me hard too, because I was already a very big fan of this gentleman.
Yeah.
And
Look at that right there.
car is iconic.
Yeah.
That car is iconic.
Yeah.
And the connection was cool because I had become a Sly Stallone / Rocky fan
Yeah.
because of the movies, obviously.
Mhm.
And when I saw him by the Trans Am, I was like, my two worlds have just morphed.
Yeah.
And then I found out that Sly wore number 22 when he played football.
Mm-hmm.
And this gentleman wore number 22 when he played football too. So this old guy wore number 22 his entire pathetic athletic career. So that was what I do. But anyway, if you guys have not been able to guess by now who we're talking about and who we will be talking about for the remainder of the episode, is a very, very big hero of mine. Very close to Mr. Stallone. I mean, very close is Mr. Burt Reynolds.
And I'm just going to put a picture up here.
I know. You wouldn't have it up first.
Well, I'm just going to put this up just to show them, you know, the iconic Burt Reynolds, right?
Yeah, I met. See, you can see my Burt mustache and hair going on there. That's a little odd. I don't know. Burt might have felt weird about that, but I got the pleasure of meeting him at a book signing.
Isn't that amazing?
In New York City, when I found, because I never, ever in a million years would have thought I would have met Burt Reynolds.
That's amazing.
And this is long before internet, and it was an advertising in the paper.
Yeah.
That Barnes and Noble or Walden Books, whatever it was in New York City.
What a great picture that was.
I had to go. I took off of work.
Yeah.
I went up there. I waited around, and sure enough, the man was a gentleman. Shook my hand, told him what a big fan I was of his work, and chatted for a few minutes, you know, and signed my book. But class
at the time, did you have a mustache, or did you grow it because you were going to go back?
No. No, I actually I had it. I already had grown it. And then when I first started watching Burt, obviously I was too young to grow a mustache.
Yeah, sure.
And then when I got old enough where I started growing one, I thought about it. I wasn't really sure. But then another gentleman who made a very where I really enjoyed his work was Tom Selleck.
Right.
I was a huge Magnum PI fan.
Yeah.
So I decided to grow one when I was in high school. And
I was going to throw it up one more.
I actually
one more
had
time.
one.
Put it up one more time. I love it. Look at this. Hey, look at that.
Oh my God. I know we couldn't go. I wanted to go behind the table and stand next to him and get a face-to-face picture, but they wouldn't let us. So I was like, that's all right.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I had that on there. But yeah, Burt Reynolds. He has an amazing career.
Oh,
stemming, I mean, back to the 50s. We won't touch base too much on his way older stuff, but he got his work started in he was a stuntman and doing some Gunsmoke and some of the old black and white TV serials. And he did all of his own stunts. But what put him on the map, I mean, we're jumping way ahead, obviously, because in 1972, what put him on the map was Deliverance. And that made a lot of people really realize he could act.
Yeah.
He did all his own stunts. I mean, from that moment there through 1984, every guy wanted to go hang out with Burt or be Burt.
That's right.
You know, and every woman wanted Burt. I mean,
right.
So it was like he was the perfect guy. You know, he had a great sense of humor. He was a tough SOB. But that film there, if you haven't seen Deliverance, it's definitely a interesting film that there's some parts in it where you might find it a little disturbing. Some may not, but it's a very, very good film.
Yeah.
John Voight's in it, Ronnie Cox is in it, Ned Beatty's in it, and Burt, of course. But he got put on the map with that one there.
Yeah, Ned Beatty worked with Burt on a few of them, right? So
yeah, he worked with him a lot. He's kind of like Sly was, where he had a circle of people,
a loyalty,
where he kept them around. A lot of them, where this one might work on this project, this one might work on that project. So Ned Beatty did do a lot with them, But now obviously, you know, both you and I were young in 72.
Yeah.
Well, actually, you weren't even around in 72, were you?
I was not around. No.
You didn't come around yet?
No, I hadn't even been delivered yet.
I was.
Like that?
You go. But
that was a bad joke of the day, folks.
Well, I was 6, and I was not allowed to watch Deliverance, obviously. No. I didn't see Deliverance until long after Smokey and the Bandit, to be very honest.
Yeah.
But the one after that I did see, and I did sneak in to see, was The Longest Yard.
Right.
And that's where I saw him wear number 22.
Yeah.
So I had my baseball jersey was 22. My football jersey was 22. The Mean Machine. Look at him. Machine. That's without his mustache too. So we haven't gotten to his mustache yet.
That was a great movie, right? So
it really was. I mean, it's such a, you know, a quick backstory because we always seem to drift off somewhere.
Sure.
But Albert Ruddy, who produced The Godfather, did not want to produce Godfather 2 because he had this project that he's always wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
And he wrote it and he wanted to do it, and it was The Longest Yard.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that until fairly recently.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a great movie. It's a lot of comedy. It's got some
Mm-hmm.
action,
Yeah.
little drama. But another one that showed Deliverance was not a one-off.
No, that's right.
He had the chops to act and to play the funny role. Now you
I
saw
think-
the original, correct?
Yeah, that's right. I did. Yeah. And I think when you see something like that after Deliverance and then later on in his other films, it just shows you, like you said, he's not a one-trick pony, right?
Right, correct. I mean,
Yeah.
and in Deliverance, he did his own stunts,
Mm-hmm.
flipping off out of the canoe and
Yeah.
whatever else he had to do
Mhm.
on there. There was and in Longest Yard,
Mm-hmm.
he played football.
Yeah.
So he did everything in the movie.
Yeah.
So the producers and the directors, they got this guy who's a good looking movie star.
Mhm.
He's funny. He's tough. He could do his
Yeah.
own stunts. This was like a dream come true.
Yeah.
So they loved it. But
Well,
yeah,
he was a football player in college, though.
Yeah, he actually got drafted out of
Mhm.
college to go to the Colts, and but he had a really bad knee injury.
Yeah.
and could not continue after that,
Mhm.
so he wasn't
No, that's
able
right.
to. So that was, who knows? Maybe we didn't get all these good movies, but maybe we would have had a good football team. But
That's right.
life went in that direction.
The one thing we've talked about, and you brought up before, that overall you're not a fan of remakes, but they did remake The Longest Yard, and I thought I'd seen it, and I was kept telling you, you got to watch this, not because of this episode, just because I thought it was pretty good. I thought they did a fairly good job on this.
They did. I have to admit they did. Look at, there's Burt there.
Yeah.
I thought it was great that
Mhm.
I mean that they had him in the film, first of
Mhm.
all, but
Yeah.
also playing the role of Nate Scarborough,
Mhm.
who was the older ex-NFL guy,
Yeah.
in the original.
Yeah.
I thought it was fantastic that they had him play that role. It was perfect. I'm
Mhm.
sure it was
Adam
probably
Sandler
Burt's
there in the
idea.
background.
Yeah.
And
Well,
Goldberg, right?
that's what tore me away from wanting to see the remake, because
Yeah.
you got Burt, this masculine, tough, good-looking, athletic, funny guy, and
Mhm.
Adam Sandler had funny.
Yeah.
And so it kind of like rubbed me the wrong way.
Mhm.
But when I did see the film, I did enjoy it. I
Mhm.
did. It definitely doesn't hold a candle to the original, but it was good. It was enjoyable. I enjoyed watching it. Adam Sandler did an okay job.
Mhm.
I just think he tried to be funny a little too much in it.
Mhm. Mhm.
He didn't really play the role like of Paul Crewe like Burt Reynolds did.
Right.
But it was a worthy remake.
Right.
I mean, I would assume the younger generation would say the older one is not as good.
Yeah.
The newer one is
That's
good.
like
When
we, my wife and I, when we talk about Footloose, the kids, they like the remake of Footloose. So
Right.
we put on the original one, and we get into it, and then I don't even realize by the end of it, all the kids had left. They left the room. I don't think they finished it, and I was thinking, what is wrong with these kids? Like,
right.
But you know what? That's what you like, right? And I
Right.
think this is my opinion. This is my opinion on the remakes. They look at the target audience. Obviously,
Sure.
it's out to make money, right?
Oh,
And they're gonna make updates. They're not. You can't just remake it and make the same thing. What's the point of that? You make it to at least there's something for everybody with a remake, right?
No, absolutely. They definitely look at the target audience. They look at the times we're in. The remake of Longest Yard was like one
Mhm.
big MTV video with different songs and
Mhm.
wrestlers and football players that were playing roles.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a fun film. It really was.
Yeah.
I'm not going to put it down. I
Yeah.
enjoyed it. I watched the whole thing. I didn't shut
Mhm.
it off.
Yeah.
But again, my personal was The Longest Yard for a
But
lot
that's
of
you know
people.
what, and that's yours. That's your feeling, and everybody is different. I love the original. I
Right.
like the remake. I agree, the original is better.
Yeah.
But the remake is fun. So
Oh yeah, no, good time.
yeah.
But after The Longest Yard is when he had his
Oh yeah.
He had his stratosphere of fame hit him like when Tom Cruise did Top Gun.
Yeah.
There's certain films that just take them
Yeah.
and shoot them into the universe, and Smokey and the Bandit is what did it for him. He has his
Oh yeah.
trademark mustache in this one,
Mm-hmm.
and and you had Jackie Gleason,
Yeah. Sally
uh,
Field.
Sheriff Buford T. Justice, Sally
Yeah.
Field. You had Jerry Reed as the truck driver.
Yeah.
And again, like we said, Burt has his couple people in there. The oh my goodness, Sheriff Justice
Mm-hmm.
son, the
Mm-hmm.
one that Sally Field was marrying in the
Yeah.
movie, he was in Longest Yard.
Mm-hmm.
He was one of the guards in Longest Yard.
Mm-hmm.
So he brings some other people with him. But the Smokey and the Bandit,
Jackie
again, that's why
Gleason,
I talked
right?
about that Trans Am. Trans Am sales went up like 80% that
Yeah.
year. You know, the
That's right.
movie just put him way over the top with everybody. It was a fun movie.
I think everybody wanted that car, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, come on, anybody that watched that movie, like I said, guys wanted to be him, go out and have a
Yeah.
drink with him.
Yeah.
Girls wanted to just, you know.
Yeah.
So
That's right.
he, I mean, that car was something else. I mean, he comes out when you first see that car in that movie.
Mhm.
I don't know if you remember that movie when you first see it, but the truck, Jerry Reed pulls up the big Bandit truck.
Mm-hmm.
And he comes and backs it out, and all you hear
Yeah.
is the big, you know, boom, 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 boom,
Yeah.
of the
Yeah. Yeah.
engine, and
Yeah. That's right.
you see the bird on the front, and
I love when they're
yeah,
negotiating the deal, right? Because it's the original. The bet is to get beer across the country, right?
is
And
beer across the Texarkana line.
yeah, so
It would be bootlegging considered back then.
and
So,
you know, he says to him, "Gonna need a car," and
yeah,
so he dishes out a bit of money. Goes
NASCAR
a little bit faster than that.
faster than
This is
that.
a bit of money. A little bit faster than that. You know, he just kept, you know.
Oh man, I mean, don't go out if you haven't seen this movie, which shame on you if you haven't.
Mm-hmm.
It's historic and it's
Yeah.
legendary. But if you haven't, and go watch it, don't be confused. You're not. It's not a drama. You're
No,
not
no.
going to
It's one of
cure.
those, you know what? It's what we were talking about earlier. It's hot out. It's stay inside, put on a great movie. This
Right.
is one hell of a fun ride. You are
Right,
going to
and that's all
laugh.
it is. It's a fun time,
Mhm.
a fun movie.
And the
You
picture
know,
we have
him
up
and
right now for people listening, Burt Reynolds, Sally Field, right?
yep.
Quite a bit of chemistry in that movie,
A
right?
lot
With
of
those two.
chemistry, which they went together from that point for quite a
Mhm.
few years, actually,
Yeah,
and they were together for a long time romantically,
that's right.
and personally. But it's Jackie Gleason as Sheriff Justice. I tell you, I
Jackie
know a lot of
Gleason.
the older fans know him from The Honeymooners,
Sure.
the Jackie
Yeah.
Gleason Show.
Mhm.
But I tell you that he was legendary in that role.
I'm going to put a picture up now, and I apologize again for people listening, but you know, check us out sometime on YouTube as well, and you can see some of these pictures we're putting up. But this one right here, this scene, now that there, I think is from that must have been a outtake.
Yeah,
That
because Bert's laughing too much at the end. So
that's
the
right.
scene that Tim put the picture up is Bert and Jackie Gleason are in the diner at one of the pit
Oh yeah,
stops, and
and
Jackie Gleason's wiping his face, but Bert's
yeah,
laughing really hard
yeah.
there.
Sheriff
Something must have happened.
T. You know, the justice comes in and just he's in a hurry, right?
He's in a hurry. He's
Oh
trying to catch the bandit. He
yeah,
goes up and orders that sandwich
yeah,
to the waitress.
yeah. He comes in, he says, "Give me a Diablo sandwich and a Dr. Pepper, nice lady. I'm in a
Thanks,
goddamn
lady.
hurry." You know, and then he goes. The best part is he goes back out and yells at his son,
Yeah,
and then he comes in and Bert,
he's yelling
you
at the
know, the
sun
bandit
so
says,
bad.
"What are you doing? You chasing somebody? Somebody chasing you? Nobody chasing me." You
I
know?
remember he's spitting all over. So
Oh
Bert's
yeah,
like going like this and wiping his face.
yeah, yeah,
Classic scene. Great physical comedy.
yeah,
Great chemistry. The two of them. It
yeah,
was just hysterical. It really was just hysterical.
yeah.
Bert had a really good sense of comedy.
Hmm.
He not only did the action but the comedy. And now in this movie, basically, this was Hal Needham, who was a stunt director,
Hmm.
who wanted to make this good old boy film with a bunch of cowboy buddies and just have fun with it. They wanted to blow up
Yeah,
cars. They wanted cars to
yeah,
jump over rivers and
yeah.
just have fun. That's what they did. That's what
The
they did. But
convoy, right? The truck
they
and the
created
music.
this. Yeah, they created this 70s, this mid 70s, but
Yeah.
still CB radios and
Hmm.
Trans Ams.
Hmm.
And, you know, you had people all over the country wanting a cowboy hat.
Yeah.
not just down south.
Mhm.
So it
My
was
dad, we grew up on an island, and we grew up on a farm. And for years, my dad, long before, eventually he, towards the end of his career, became a truck driver. But for years, he had a CB radio in our in our vehicle, and he would talk to the truckers going
yeah,
up and down the highway. And we went to Prince Edward Island one time, which is probably a 2-day trip
good
here.
muscles there, by the way.
And yeah, and he would get on and talk to a truck driver, and
Yeah,
he just thought he was in the convoy. He was right in his glory talking on that
yeah.
CB, and
It
a lot of
created a
it came from
whole.
that movie.
Oh God, yeah, it came. Everything came from that movie in that
Hmm.
time period. The CB or the lingo, 10
Hmm.
4, good buddy,
Yep.
and
Yep.
breaker 1-9, all that kind of
Yep.
stuff. It was just fun. But Jackie Gleason and Burt themselves, it was so good. It was
Yeah.
so good. It was
Yeah.
it's a fun movie. Like I
That's
said,
right.
there's no thick plot, guys. You're not gonna watch
Hmm.
this and be like,
Yeah.
what
Now they
happened at
did
the
make
end?
they did make two more.
Yeah, they did. The second one was a very big hit.
Hmm.
Not as big as the first, but it was a huge hit. And that one
Yep.
was another buddy of Bert's. Dom DeLuise was in that
Yeah.
one. And Sally Field
Hmm.
reprised, and Jackie Gleason
Hmm.
reprised, and Jerry Reed. That was good. It was
Hmm.
it had a lot of good, funny stuff in it as well.
Yep.
More funny were the bloopers than,
Oh my
than,
God. That's
than
you
some
know
of
what?
them.
That's when they started. I can't remember if that was the first, but that's when they started showing the bloopers at the end of the movies, especially their movies.
It might have been the first, if not closest, because I
Hmm.
remember like the next one was Cannonball Run that I
Yeah.
saw, which is one of my favorite of his. And
Yep.
again, talking about a film that really has like it will not make the top 1 billion
No.
best movies ever made. it's,
No, that's
it's
right.
just a fun racing bunch of movies. I mean, you're talking Dean Martin,
Yeah.
Sammy Davis Jr., Burt Reynolds,
Dom
Farrah
DeLuise,
Fawcett.
right?
You're not talking. I mean, you're talking some big stars for the time. These guys were just having fun. But at the end of that movie, with those bloopers, so I'm not, like Smokey and the Bandit 2 and Cannonball came out right there.
Hmm.
And so yeah, it was definitely one of the first.
Yeah.
And it was so funny
Yeah,
to watch
that's
the
right.
blooper. But good stuff was there. And but then from there through, I mean, he had so many hits.
Hmm.
And again, not hits that maybe like today's standards where they're making, $100 million,
Yeah.
but he definitely had his following, and he
Hmm.
had his people that liked him. He did a lot of co-hosting on
Hmm.
the Tonight Show for Johnny Carson,
Yeah, that was
and
big, right?
Johnny loved him. What we have up here right now looks like from about a time frame about 1978,
Right.
give or take.
Hmm.
Johnny's pouring whipped cream down his shirt, and
Hmm.
what's funny is like Bert's just taking it,
Yeah.
whatever. Who knows where? I don't. I have to watch the show again and refresh my memory of why they did it. But he reprised his role. I mean, reprised his spot of co-host a lot there.
Hmm.
Johnny was a go-to for Johnny. He
Yeah.
again, he had the charisma. He had the self-deprecating. He'd make fun of himself big
Hmm.
time throughout his entire career.
Yeah,
He
and I
made fun
think
of his
that's
own
important
movies.
that he wasn't afraid to step out of his element, right?
Right, right. I mean, he knew if a movie was a tanker, and he
Hmm.
knew if it was a hit.
Hmm.
I mean, now in the same respect, he's turned down some mega roles,
Yeah.
but you can't base it on if I took that role or if I took this role.
No.
That's every single movie star
Hmm.
alive has
Hmm.
turned down roles that other movie stars made incredible. Maybe that wouldn't have made it as so big if a
Right.
different actor was in it. Who knows?
Hmm. Yeah.
But and then he kind of fizzled off in the 84-ish time frame.
Hmm.
I mean, 73 to 84, he was People's Choice Awards winner every one
Hmm.
of those years.
Right.
So he just loved them. And then in 97, he finally got his acting chops
Hmm.
rewarded, which the picture's up here now. Burt holding the Golden Globe
Yep.
for Boogie Nights.
Hmm.
And this role here
Big
is
cast.
100% turnaround
Hmm.
from his good old boy
Yep.
speeding with a Trans Am, laughing on the side. This one here
Hmm.
is a little darker, a little
Yep.
more serious, realistic.
Hmm.
But he played a porn director in the
Hmm.
early 70s. was making, he thought was artful
Mm-hmm.
movies,
Mm-hmm.
and found his rising star in this one busboy
Yeah.
and put him on the map. And the film, very good film. If you haven't seen this film, now again, keep in mind it's not a film for children or young
No.
kids. It's I just
No.
told you what role
Yeah.
he played. So
Yeah. Don't get confused. Don't get confused with the term Boogie Nights.
yeah,
Right.
exactly.
So.
It's not another Trans Am movie. So
Mm-hmm.
just be careful where
Yeah.
and who you
And
watch
I
this
think
with.
anybody that wants to show some of their kids knows about that movie anyway. So
Yeah, it's but he did a great job, but I always think a good actor, they do good jobs even in their bad roles.
yep.
They just need that one role to stick out a little
Mm-hmm.
further.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you watch Burt acting in Deliverance or in
Mm-hmm.
some of the more dramatic scenes of The Longest Yard,
Yeah.
and then you watch him in Boogie Nights,
Mm-hmm.
he's no more convincing in any of those roles. He's a good actor. He
No,
gave
that's
you
right.
the real emotion, gave you the real, how he felt,
Yep.
and it shows. So he was also nominated for Academy Award for that film. So I
Mm-hmm.
think that went a long way with him because he really felt
Right.
like he needed to be rewarded, not to being a stunt guy who makes chase movies and stuff.
Right.
And hey, look, I can act.
Yeah. Another one
And,
we're throwing up here.
so yeah, and in the 93, I believe it was, he started doing a TV show called Evening
Yeah.
Shade where he played
Mm-hmm.
a high school football coach.
Now,
And he
correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember, was this not the one where they had an episode where they shaved half his mustache off?
I think so.
Not like it was the show, and didn't he? Like he had that mustache for how many years, and it was
Yeah, well,
surprised they agreed
remember
to.
now in Longest Yard, remember he
Mhm.
had the mustache and they shaved half of it
Yeah,
off in the
yeah.
movie.
But I mean, yeah,
But then
in
after that, he had that mustache
for
from
years and years.
77 to
Yeah,
93 or
right.
whatever it
And then
was.
one of the
He didn't have.
episodes, one of his daughters on the show
Yeah,
had shaved part of the mustache, and everybody
right.
would. And I think the audience in the TV studio didn't know that was going to happen, and there was
Right.
people like screaming because they were like, "What just happened?"
Yeah. Well, I mean, think about it. There's only, there's a handful of people out there
Yeah.
that are known for their mustaches, no matter
Mhm.
what the year is, no matter what the decade is. Tom Selleck, Burt Reynolds, Sam Elliott. I mean,
Yeah.
those are the three that I could think of that
Yeah.
they could have a mustache every decade and it doesn't look out
Mhm.
of style.
Yeah.
You know? He,
That's right.
but then he did, like you said, like we were saying, he did some, like everybody does, direct to DVDs and
Mhm.
direct to TV and whatever it may be,
Mhm.
films, which were not that great. Some of them
Yeah.
were good, some of them weren't
Yeah.
good. It's well known that he wore a hairpiece,
Mhm.
and some of the movies, his hairpiece got a little out of control.
Yeah.
And it didn't look as real. And that one there is a little scary. Was
Yeah.
showing he
Oh,
played the governor
yeah.
in
Striptease.
Striptease
Yeah, with Demi Moore.
with Demi Moore, and
Yeah.
he was a piece of work in that one. That kind of put him back. Like, look, he could still be funny and still do
Yeah.
some drama, and
Mhm.
and that was 15 years after his last hit. So
Yeah,
it was
that's right.
his big hit, I should say.
But it's funny when we started talking about this that, the connection with the Trans Am, the connection with the number 22, we did get him and Sly working together
Yes, we
in
did. It was
2001, I believe it was, in
yeah.
Driven,
Yep.
right?
I mean, I saw that come out. I said, "Oh my god, now they're
Yeah.
really morphed. Like the two
Yeah,
worlds
that's
are
right.
together."
So you got the cars, you got the action stars, you
Yeah.
got two of the biggest movie stars together on screen, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of that movie they actually filmed in Canada. They filmed a lot of
Oh,
it in
really?
Toronto, right?
Oh, okay.
They used part of the Molson Indy for race clips. They filmed in Toronto. I believe they filmed in Montreal. I believe they filmed in Vancouver.
Oh,
But a
wow.
lot of the scenes were filmed in Toronto. Not obviously, it was they didn't say that they were in Toronto, but they used part of the F1
Right.
scenes from Toronto.
Yeah,
But
Bert's loved his cars, and there's Sly and Bert right now,
mhm,
and Bert loves his cars, and
yeah,
he did the movie Hooper where he played a stuntman. He had his
yeah,
cars in there, Cannonball Run. He's driving across country, but to see those two together
mhm.
in the same film, that was pretty cool for me.
Yeah, that what
You know?
would have been one of your bucket list, I bet, eh?
Yeah, it was very cool. Like I said, I grew up watching both of them and admiring both
Yeah.
of their films, admiring them as people as well.
Hmm.
It's not always about the movies. Sometimes you hear some things about actors and you like their movies and you're like, well, I just like their movies, but these people here, I truly enjoyed them
Yeah.
and hearing about them as well. And wait, I forgot actually to show something. I was going to have this behind me,
Hmm.
but you can't really. Now, obviously, you can see my Rocky
Hmm.
pops that I have there. Well, my daughter that gave me this a while back.
Wow.
See,
Look
it's
at
Burt.
that.
It's Burt in the Trans Am, which I
Yeah.
thought was hysterical. She keeps telling me I'm not allowed to take these out of the box, so I got to leave the
Yeah.
box.
Well, for
Oh,
anybody, we'll get Tony will get a picture and we'll put it up on the Round 14 Instagram page of that.
yeah, I will. Right after
You holding
we do the
that.
show,
So
I'll put it up.
we'll get a couple of them, one of
I
it,
will.
and then one of Tony holding it. So, but
I will, but that's
pretty
pretty cool.
cool.
I mean, that goes to show you too how legendary he is. I mean, they're making toys of him now,
Yeah,
in the
that's right.
2020s. So it's pretty
Yeah.
neat. But but yeah, Driven was good though. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
You care for it?
I did. You know what? I think because it was it was just totally different, right? The concept. Um, that was a good movie. And then you have Burt as the mentor or the instructor to Sly, right?
Right.
He's in a wheelchair, and he's using his experience to pass down to Sly, who's trying to pass down to. They bring Sly in to kind of mold a new driver,
Yeah,
right?
help that little hot shoot
Yeah,
kid that they had
yeah,
there.
and it's just kind of a generational passing of the torch between the
Yeah,
three of them, right? So,
yeah.
and I thought it was a good movie just because it was totally different for Sly and even for Burt himself, right, to play that role.
Yeah. No, agreed, agreed. And again, we've always talked about how Sly has made, when he's older, has made the correct role choices. He's
Hmm.
not boxing in Creed 2.
Hmm.
He's the mentor. And Burt knew that too. He was the older one now. He wasn't the good-looking hot shoot kid anymore. And so he played the role accordingly.
Yeah.
And he actually did quite a few movies after that, actually. But then in 2018 the world did lose one of the best
Yeah.
fun for creative actors out there, and he died in
That's right.
2018
Hmm.
of heart failure. And to be honest with you, it was it. I know it's weird for somebody to say, but it really, really bothered me. It really
Yeah.
upset me, as if I like when Sly goes, then I'll be
Hmm.
like, there's very few actors because I don't know these people.
Hmm.
I mean, I've seen actors come and go, that
Yeah.
I've watched. I grew up watching
Hmm.
certain actors, and I see them die, but some of them really hit home.
Hmm.
And that one, of course, from a childhood standpoint,
Yeah.
is,
The unfortunate part is time wins, right?
takes everybody out. It's undefeated.
You've watched Sly just posted on his Instagram today another video.
Yeah,
I call them life lessons.
they are.
And
They are.
you know what? He has said that before. I kind of stole that from Sly.
No, I wish you'd read the book.
Time wins. It's undefeated. But the one thing we can be grateful is the beauty and the magic of film, right? That we have these
Oh,
forever.
absolutely. Yeah, you can go watch him anytime you want,
Yeah.
in any different movie you want. So he's still
Mhm.
around. He'll be around forever as long
Yeah.
as they have movies that are be able
And
to
you can watch
stream.
him. You can watch older Burt Reynolds. You can watch younger. That's the beauty of it, right? You're in control of when you want, how you remember it.
Absolutely. And with today's technology, I guess you could say,
Hmm.
you punch in YouTube, you could watch anything. You
Hmm.
could see the old Johnny Carsons when he co-hosted.
Hmm.
If you want to go back to Jackie Gleason and the Honeymooners,
Yeah.
you could do any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah. That's right.
Um,
I was chatting with a friend last night about they had never seen Smokey and the Bandit. Okay, but she's a huge Jackie Gleason fan, and I
right.
showed her that clip
You got to see
from
it.
the restaurant and
Right.
the two of them. And the first thing she said was, "Is that Jackie Gleason?" I said,
Yeah.
"It is."
Oh, yeah.
She goes, "I can't believe I've never seen this movie." But you know what? We can't see every movie. Okay, you can't see everything.
Yeah.
But
I
this
know
is
my
one you
daughter
got to
has
see.
this like bucket list movies that she
Hmm.
has to
Hmm.
see that are
Yeah.
legendary classic
Yeah.
films.
Yeah,
But like you
there's
said,
honestly there's a few movies that I'd be embarrassed to say I haven't seen, and I have to go back and Academy Award winners, like, you know what I mean.
right.
We all have that list that for whatever reason. Now my problem is I tend to watch some of the same movies over and over again without broadening out my horizons.
I do the
Like,
same thing.
I just talked about watching First Blood Part 2. I've
Right.
seen that before.
Yeah,
You know, it's
a
just a
time or
good
two,
movie.
right?
You know,
Once or
like
twice.
Smokey and the Bandit, the Rocky movies. We joke about it. We do the lines about it, but sometimes we gotta, you know, I just don't want to set myself up for something and not
Right.
be
It's
like,
not there.
it's not there. But you know what? Got to give some of these other movies a chance. But I'd be interested to see some of our viewers, you know, leave us a message. Movies that everybody has talked about that you haven't seen. Be interesting. We could, you know, do a list sometime. Say, hey,
Yeah, we could. We could do a
here's
top 10
top
list
10 movies.
yeah, of the most, the ones that they voted on the most, because I know there's movies out there. I'd have to think about it. A good way, go to the AFI top 100 films.
Yeah.
On Google, and just look. Those are the top
Yeah.
greatest films ever made.
I tell you what, this is funny. When I watch the Academy Awards, you know, for whatever you want to take it, whether you agree with them or not, half the movies I'm like, I've never even heard of that movie.
Oh, now? Oh, yeah. Now forget it. I don't.
Yeah,
it's different story.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Burt did leave us, but he does live on in film, like you were saying.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And he definitely made an impact on a lot of people's lives.
Yeah.
I know there's a ton we did not touch base on with Burt. When you have a guy that's been around since the 1950s, we're not going to be able to talk about that in 1 hour. We didn't even touch base on his marriage to Lonnie Anderson.
No,
you know, we didn't. There's a lot we didn't talk about, but
yeah.
we can't. I mean, we just touched base on the highlights.
Yeah,
he was. You know, there's a museum down here in Jupiter, Florida, where he lived.
Yeah,
you'll see his Trans Am and whatnot. But
that's right. I think if we touched on every movie, we'd be here for 4 hours.
We would. I mean, he had, you know, hundreds of movies, so it'd be almost impossible.
Well, that's it. People would be waking up for work tomorrow morning and going, "Jesus, these two knuckleheads are still talking about Burt Reynolds."
But again, a name that's known everywhere. You know, people.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's actually, the name might be known more than him.
Mm-hmm.
Some people might know the name Burt Reynolds, but don't really know why they know it. Yeah, that doesn't really sound like it makes sense, but I've had it happen.
No, that's right.
Where, you know, I said, I was a big Burt Reynolds fan growing up, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I know him. What's he done?"
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, big star guy with mustache.
But what's he done?
And the fancy car.
Exactly.
That's right.
Yeah. You tell them the Trans Am, they might know. The Trans Am is almost as popular as he is.
Yeah, that's right.
So, but that's about it. Burt's lived a long, good life and gave us a lot of fun and laughs and good times. And we could tell him we're going to talk a little trivia about him now. Give maybe some questions here and there. See how we do on that. We do some trivia.
Sure. Well, let me fire up the time machine here.
Lace up your roller skates there.
Yeah, lace up the roller skates, and I think I got a pocket full of quarters for the arcade.
There you go.
And hang on, we'll just play that right now.
All right.
Boy, I tell you.
Every time.
Every time. I love it.
I think we should film it live one day. Just have you roller skating around your neighborhood.
Well, now that's a show. That's a show. I'll have to get a wig because unfortunately I don't have the mullet anymore.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I wouldn't say unfortunately.
Yeah. There you go.
All right. So you want to go first? Or want me to go first? I don't have a lot this week. I only have 3. I have 3 Burt questions.
Okay.
And 1 Rocky question.
All right. I'll take a swing first.
I wanted to be kind. I know it's tough with Burt with the large career like that.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. What Golden Globe was he first nominated for?
First nominated?
Yes.
I'm gonna say Deliverance.
Dan August.
Oh, Dan August. That was a TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah, he played a detective. I didn't even know okay. That's cool.
Yeah, look at that, eh?
Yeah, you got
number 1.
I already got shot down.
I did my homework this week.
I see that. I was scrambling this week.
Yeah. Well, you were out on the boat yesterday, right?
So, I know.
Down in sunny FLA, and I'm here in Drury, Canada, in the basement, doing trivia, and you're out there sailing.
Dan August. Yeah, I actually have seen a couple of Dan August. They were like an old detective show.
There you go. Okay, you're up.
All right. So the first one I got for you was Burt Reynolds played college football for what?
Yeah.
What college?
Oh, I think it was. I think it was Florida.
Could you elaborate more, please?
Yeah. What is it, like 20 colleges in Florida? I'm gonna say Florida State.
There you go. That was a good guess.
See, I told you.
FSU, the Florida State
Yeah.
Seminoles. He
Yeah.
he played there and did very well there.
It's pretty
As a
good.
tailback, running
That's
back.
pretty
He's a
good.
tailback and running backs. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So you're beating me on this one. 1-0.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Am I trying to read my own notes here? Where are we here? Okay. How long? So the movie Smokey and the Bandit, and they had to run the beer. They're a bootlegger, right?
Right.
The bet was they could do it in how many hours?
48?
18 hours.
18 hours. Oh my God, I'm 0 for 2.
0 for 2. This is your guy, Tony.
I know this is my guy.
Oh,
18 hours.
18 hours.
That's a fast car.
Well, that's why they kept saying, I need a little bit,
That is a
faster.
fast car. See that?
All on the money.
You beat me bad on this one.
Oh, this
okay.
is fun.
In the 70s,
Yeah.
Burt made a lot of headlines and a lot of news for posing nude. He wasn't completely nude, covering a little private area there.
Yeah.
But he put a nude centerfold in what magazine?
I'm going to say it was
very famous that he did this.
Playgirl?
No.
Right?
Of course, that's a very good guess.
Okay.
But no, it was made such a big deal because it was for the women's magazine Cosmopolitan.
Wow. Okay.
And he was a centerfold in there.
See, I honestly didn't think that they would put it in that magazine, but
that was why it made such a big stink. Yeah, it made a lot of headlines, made a lot of what are you doing?
Honestly, it was a guess. Is Playgirl, is that a magazine? I know they had Playboy, right?
But it was. I don't know if it's still. I don't know if any magazines are still around. But yeah, it was basically Playboy's version of Playgirl was the Playboy version of Men. Yeah,
I imagine that sold a lot of copies.
Yeah, a lot.
You know what? I'm telling you, that's marketing people. They probably got this whole thing where we don't want it, but they probably thought you want to sell magazines. There we go.
Yep. All right, hit me with number 3. I gotta gain some ground here.
All right. Back to Smokey and the Bandit.
Okay.
So we've talked about 18 hours to get the beer across. How many cases of beer
were in
the truck?
That I have no idea.
400 cases of beer.
400.
Yeah. And what was the beer? What was the beer?
I knew. It was Coors.
There we go. Ding, ding. You gotta. I'll give you one for that.
All right. So you ready for? I got a Smokey the Bandit question myself.
Okay.
So remember Jerry Reed played the truck driver.
Yep.
Right, Snowman.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a little dog as his companion in that truck.
Oh yeah, it was awesome.
Basset Hound.
Yeah.
Named what?
Fred.
Oh, you are killing it.
I love it.
You are killing it.
You know what? It's my favorite. It's one of my favorite Smokey and the Bandit movies. It's one of my dad. It's my dad's favorite Smokey and the Bandit movie.
Oh,
the favorite Burt Reynolds movie.
I am losing big time.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
All right. Okay.
That's what's fun about it, though. We don't prepare for these trivia questions.
No, I know. It just yeah. Okay, I'm going to switch categories.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to talk a little Rocky Balboa. How about that?
All right.
See, didn't even know I was going to switch categories.
Rocky Balboa the movie or Rocky Balboa like the character?
Rocky Balboa the movie.
Okay.
Okay. At the first of Rocky Balboa, Rocky comes in to see his son and meets Robert's boss. What is Robert's boss's name?
Oh my God, you are killing me tonight. Oh, it's about time these old war horses met. I can see the scene. I know the scene. I don't know.
William Tomlinson.
Oh,
and this is the best part is Rocky's seen the conversation before, and he's given Robert shit for coming in late.
Right.
And he says, I don't care who your dad is. I don't care who your dad is. you're not nearly good enough to be late. And then all of a sudden Rocky shows up and he's like,
Yeah.
oh, I've always, he's
Yeah,
just,
I know.
he's like, he
Typical
didn't,
little
yeah,
corporate snob.
yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Stupid management.
I didn't remember Tomlinson. I didn't remember that at
Yeah.
all. But I remember
Yeah.
the scene. You are kicking my butt, my friend.
All right.
All right. So here we got multiple choice question.
Okay.
Okay. There have been very famous films that Burt Reynolds turned down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm going to give you a list of them. Tell
Okay.
me which one. Okay. Han Solo for Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
The Edward character for Pretty Woman, the
Mhm.
Richard Gere character.
Mhm.
The John McClane character, Bruce Willis in Die Hard. One of those three, or is it all of them? So A, B, C, or D. A is Han Solo.
Okay, so D
B, Pretty
would be
Woman.
everything.
C is
Okay.
Die Hard. D is all
All
of
right.
them.
I'm gonna say. I know he wasn't in any of them. I'm gonna say D. I'm gonna say he turned them all down.
That is correct. Man,
Is it really?
fire today?
Wow.
You're on fire.
Do I win a prize or something? Like, what do I get?
He turned them all down. He's turned down Han
Oh,
Solo, which I could
yeah.
definitely on that he had
Yeah.
no business doing. Now I could see him playing the role of Richard Gere in Pretty Woman.
Yeah, but
That one I
okay,
could have seen happening.
You know, and I don't want to sidetrack this, but I will. The funny thing about Star Wars and being Han Solo, Harrison Ford wasn't the first choice for Han Solo.
Yeah,
either.
I know that. Yeah,
you know what? Because George Lucas didn't like using actors he had used before.
right.
Okay.
Yeah,
And he, they were going through actors, and I got people turning it down, and there was a deadline, right? And I think it was it Spielberg? They were good buddies, and they said, George, just get Han to fill in, and so they kind of said, well, you fill in until we find somebody, and they said, oh Christ, just give it to him.
Yeah, just give it to him.
And it turned out pretty
well.
well.
I could not see Burt playing that. I could see Burt playing the Pretty Woman role. And at the time that Die Hard was done, Burt might have been a little bit too old.
Yeah,
to play John McClane.
Yeah. No,
because that was 1984, I believe, the original Die Hard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see, that was just a little. He was at the tail end of his mega stardom,
right?
And he was just a little bit too old. If that would have happened in 1980, it might have been good.
Yeah,
but I could not see Han Solo. No,
to me, after somebody has played it, like Bruce Willis playing John McClane,
hard to see anybody else.
It's hard to see anybody.
Yeah.
It's just that's how our brains are trained, and I mean,
right.
The only difference is if they do a remake, which I just found out they're doing a remake of Roadhouse.
Okay? Yeah, I saw that. And what's his name's going to play the Patrick Swayze character?
Is it Jake Gyllenhaal?
Yeah. That's actually not a bad casting role.
Not bad. I will be skeptical.
But again, look at
I will watch it.
You're not talking a classic legendary
film.
No,
but I mean, Roadhouse is one good.
Oh, I loved it. Again, it's a Smokey and the Bandit type film.
Yeah, it's a feel good.
Beat 'em up.
Yeah,
good.
It's a good time. Sam Elliott, right? Another. Yep. We talked about the guys that can rock the mustache, right?
And he rocks it. He got it. So what else you got? You got any more? No more?
Sure. I got one.
I got one
more.
I have a Rocky one.
Okay, you go and then I'll go.
Okay, so the Rocky one is fairly easy.
Okay,
should be anyway. Who are the ring announcers for Rocky and Rocky 2?
For Rocky and Rocky 2. Okay, so for Rocky,
not
the characters or the.
Let me make it a little more specific for you. I might have confused you. I don't mean who introduced Rocky in the ring. I mean the guys sitting outside the ring calling the fight.
Okay, that was Bill Baldwin and Stu Naham.
You nailed it, my brother.
And they were actual.
And they were real
ring announcers.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I love about the Rocky movies.
Yeah.
They used Stu Naham actually did 5 Rocky movies.
Yeah, because Bill Baldwin died. Before,
but they were absolutely. I remember in Rocky 2, and Bill Baldwin said, "I'd never seen so many Italians in here in my life." And
he said, "Hey, you said that,
right?" Just the chemistry between those guys was
great.
Absolutely.
And you're on fire tonight, man.
Oh,
you.
I'm telling you.
I think you only got one wrong.
Yeah, I know. I can't believe it. Okay, I got one more for you.
Yeah, the magazine. That was the only one you got wrong.
I got one more for you. In Rocky Balboa, when Rocky comes to see Paulie in the meat plant, and he's telling them that he wants to fight again, Paulie is painting a picture. What is he painting a picture of?
You're out of your mind today.
What? You don't know? Yeah, did I get you again?
Isn't it a dog?
You got it. You
All right.
saved yourself, Stallion.
Oh, whew.
Which actually, and Burt
What
Young,
I get? I got one or two.
No, two. I gave because I
Okay.
gave you a bonus on the other one. So
Okay.
you know what? Hey,
Oh my God, that
you
was
finished
brutal.
strong. You finished strong. You got knocked down a couple times, but
Oh, that's it. Got up, finished it up.
you know what? Listen,
Good stuff.
this is fun. I have fun with the show, Tony.
Of
I
course,
have fun
man.
with the trivia. You know what? It's certainly we don't cheat on the trivia because
you can definitely tell that.
What was it? There was a couple episodes ago. I think after 6 questions, it was 1-1. You know what I mean? So, but
so bad.
Tony, this was a fun episode.
It was. I appreciate it, my friend, and we'll do it again next week. And guys, like Tim was saying, put in the bottom there, maybe some of the greatest films ever made that you have not seen.
Yeah, that would be interesting to see that because maybe we'll give you a shout out. Maybe we'll say, hey, 2 or 3 people
take a tally and see, hey, most of them said this film or that film.
Yeah, no,
let's see if we could do a show on it from there, or at least a segment.
No,
but
this was
we
great.
Appreciate you guys tuning in as always. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and again, catch us on the audio, guys. We are on the Rocky. Sorry, no, I just said the Rocky podcast. We are on the last of the Action Heroes podcast
network.
I had it written on my hand for a couple weeks, but
I'm telling you,
I got it now. But
we're on Spotify,
we're on there,
Apple Tunes, we're on Instagram.
Yeah, we're all over the map.
We're everywhere.
Thanks so much, guys. We really appreciate it, and we'll see you down the road.
Appreciate it. Good night, guys. Thank you.
See you, guys.